Planning totally on being ready. She's going to wing it a little bit, and we're happy to have her here tonight also to present her icebreaker, Heather Applegate. Heather.
Well, good evening, Toastmasters and fellow guests. This is the icebreaker, so I'm supposed to talk about myself. Well, I thought the best way to talk about myself really is to talk about how I affect other people. So I've been thinking about how I wanted to write the speech for a while, but probably in the last 3 or 4 hours I put it together. So first I'll tell you a little bit about me, and then I'll kind of go into the different people. Hopefully the speech isn't too long either. I was born in New Jersey, born and raised in New Jersey, and lived there all my life except for the last 11 months that I've been in Maryland. I went to college in New Jersey, I went to Rutgers, and I got my master's in New Jersey, so just pretty much a Jersey-bred person. I moved to Maryland about 11 months ago because my dad was diagnosed with esophageal cancer, and my parents had recently moved to Maryland because of a job change that my mom had to take, a transfer. So that is why I'm here. Now let me talk about the 5 people in my life that I'd like to meet in heaven. I don't know if any of you read the book, 5 People We Meet in Heaven, but I think it's an excellent book, and it really makes you think. When you're thinking about dying and you're going through that kind of experience, this book basically takes you through this man's life who thinks that he never did anything and he never helped anyone, and it talks about people that he affected. So the 5 people that I like to meet in heaven. The first person is my grandmother, my maternal grandmother. My grandmother, I think what she would say about me is that I was a really caring person and I really cared about people. And why she would say this is that I really took a lot of time and spent a lot of time with her. Near the end of her life, I didn't know when that was going to be, but I knew when she was in her 80s that, it's not going to last forever. My grandmother would come up with lists of things that she wanted at the grocery store or Kmart or wherever. So I made it a point to really respond to all of my grandmother's requests because I knew that I wouldn't have her for a very long time. So I always spent time with her. So I think that she would say that I really cared about people. The second person that I'd like to meet in heaven is my friend Kathy, who is my friend in high school. And high school is just, for many people, at least for me, it was a terrible, horrible experience, 4 years of hell. And I realized recently that, my friend at that time was going through similar things that I was. So it meant a lot to her that I was a good friend to her. So she would be my second person. The third person is my friend Jim. Now Jim was actually a client of mine. He works for HSBC, and I, working at Experian, was managing some projects that with him. But after a while, we developed a really good relationship. Jim's the one that calls me to tell me that Rutgers lost again, and that my Mets and Jets are just not doing as well as the Yankees and the Bills. But we have a really good relationship, and Jim would certainly say that I'm an excellent worker, that I work very hard, regardless of the situation that I'm put in. Because a lot of times you're put in a situation, you're in your company's doing stupid things, but you have to move on. You have to help people. So I always help them in times where it just, maybe the company wasn't making sense. And the fourth person that I like to meet in heaven is my friend Pam. Now, Pam I met at Experian. She was someone that I had to train. Pam's about 10 years older than me, had definitely more work experience, but I knew the job, so I needed to help train her on certain things. The first day that I met Pam, I'd flown out from New Jersey to Illinois to go train her. She picks me up at my hotel. She runs out of her car and gives me a big hug. And this was the first day that I met her, but she said, I just had a sense about you. And I trained Pam for months on end, and Pam's the hardest things for Pam are things that are probably easy to me, is really software. How do you do this new program? What button do you press here? How do I, do this Excel thing? And I would help her with that. And she would say that I'm patient because I had to, really write out directions, spend hours on the phone doing things that were very easy to me, but I was very patient with her to help her figure things out. The last person that I'd like to meet in heaven is my dad. My dad passed away 3 weeks ago, so this is a little hard, but I would say that my dad would say about me that I'm very resilient. My dad is the one that was driving me to high school and kicking me out of the car and saying go, even though I didn't want to be there for, most of the time, and especially my senior year. He said, he said, "Are you sure you want to go to college? Because you don't seem to like school very much." But I did well in school. I just hated that high school environment. So when, decisions about college came, "Are you sure? Are you sure?" Well, here's an example of how my parents said, when I called them up after something happened, said, "Wow, you're resilient." My roommate, the first roommate that I had, we didn't get along very well, like most people, and we decided to split up and find other roommates. And we had picked these people out and said, "Okay, on this day we're moving." Well, my roommate was impatient. What she did was she took my stuff and she put it in the other room. About 9 o'clock, I get back to my room and I said, "Where's my stuff and who's this stuff belong to?" Well, so my new roommate and I got a bunch of people, moved all our stuff to the new room. We laughed all night. I called my parents the next day and said, "Well, I was moved. Here's my new number and my new place," and they just couldn't believe that I was able to handle that. But I'm very resilient. So those are the 5 major people, I think, and different things that they would say. So I guess my major theme is that, how other people perceive you in life is how you make a difference. So that's what I hope that I will do. Thank you.